guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am back with another Jersey Shore Family Vacation Season 3 review. This review is for episode 28, so let's just dive right into this recap because so much happened in this episode, especially because it was Angelina and Chris's wedding. So this episode starts with Angelina and Chris doing their first look for their wedding before the ceremony actually began. They were both dressed in their wedding outfits and they looked absolutely stunning together. I didn't know that a first look was a thing though, because I thought that, couples wait until, the bride walks down the aisle for them to see each other for the first time on their wedding. But apparently this first look thing is serious. People do it all the time now. And I guess they're able to, get their moment together without everybody else watching. And they also get to get their pictures taken for their wedding, and they don't have to do it after the ceremony is over. So to me, it's actually a really good idea. Now, Angelina walks out and she looks absolutely stunning. I've never seen Angelina look better ever since we've known who Angelina is. And when she walked down and she tapped Chris on the shoulder, he turned around and immediately started crying and embracing her. And it was a really sweet scene to watch. I actually got a little teary-eyed watching it because they only show us, Angelina and Chris bickering back and forth with each other and Angelina doing inappropriate stuff with other men on the show, but they never actually show Chris and Angelina getting along or showing that they truly love one another. And so this was a very special scene to watch, and I can tell that the two of them truly love one another, and I thought it was a really sweet scene to watch. Meanwhile, Jenny still has an uneasy feeling about Angelina's grandmother because Angelina's grandmother keeps giving her a death stare. In the previous episode, when they went to the rehearsal dinner, Angelina's grandmother kept staring at Jenny from across the room with this very intense look on her face, to the point where I was fearful for Jenny myself watching it. And so I can understand why Jenny would feel a little bit uncomfortable around Angelina's grandmother. She feels like Angelina's grandmother put a hex on her because ever since she's met Angelina's grandmother, she has gotten all this bad news and all this shit that's been happening to her that's negative. She puts it all on Angelina's grandmother putting a hex on her. She had a dream in the last episode that her teeth fell out, and Angelina's grandmother told her that that means bad news and that she tried to warn her about it. And so obviously Jenny is still a bit uncomfortable around this woman. She even went as far as to say that because she dropped an olive from the cocktail on her dress, that it was Angelina's grandmother's hex as to why she spilled that on her dress. Even Snooki ended up spilling a drink on her dress, and I'm like, these girls should have never had one drink before the wedding ceremony started because they're already ruining these very beautiful dresses to the point where they had to get them blow dried. Now, I don't think that Angelina's grandmother put a hex on Jenny. I don't even think this woman has a problem with Jenny. Maybe there's some energy coming from Jenny as to why she feels compelled to keep staring at her every 2 seconds. Boys end up seeing Angelina in her dress before the wedding ceremony begins, and they all tell her how beautiful she looks, and she feels special at this point because she's never gotten this many compliments from all her roommates. Now, Vinny, on the other hand, tells Angelina that she just looks okay, even though he knows that she looks absolutely stunning. But the relationship that Vinny and Angelina have, the two of them go back and forth all the time with insults, and so I can understand why he said what he said, although he did say in his interview that he thought that she looked very nice, which she did. She looked better than I've ever seen her look ever since we've known who she was, since Jersey Shore first began. So at one point before the ceremony started, Angelina got Snooki, Jenny, and Dina in a room, and she wanted to give them each a gift because she said that she was grateful that they were there for her and that they were going to be standing beside her at her wedding, because she never thought that it would happen. She never thought that she would get along with the girls, let alone them be standing next to her at her wedding, which is not surprising at all. She didn't have the best relationship with the girls. They didn't even like her the first 2 seasons of Jersey Shore, the original Jersey Shore. Even in the last episode that she was in, her and Snooki ended up getting into a physical altercation before Angelina ultimately left and did not come back to the show in season 2 when they were in Miami. So it is surprising that they are actually in her wedding and that she has a friendship with them. So she gets 3 big boxes, and they each have the Italian flag on it. And inside the boxes, it has a wine bottle, and on the wine bottle it says a quote, "Never to be used as a weapon," because obviously the girls have tried to fight each other with wine bottles before. Angelina and Jenny in particular got into a fight this season with wine bottles. They were getting getting ready to chuck at each other. So I thought that was a funny little gag gift that she got them. And then she got them each a glass with their names on it and said that those are the glasses they can drink out of whenever they hang out together, which I thought was a sweet gesture. Mike did the same thing for the guys when he was getting married, so it only made sense for Angelina to do the same for the girls. And hopefully their friendship continues to grow and they don't, keep having back and forth and not liking each other, because, Angelina finally feels like she's a part of the group. So much crazy stuff was happening before the ceremony even started. You got Uncle Nino over there talking to the priest, being really loud, asking the priest if God wasn't watching, would he try to holler at some of the girls that was at the wedding. And the priest told him that God is always watching. You can tell that the priest did not want to have a conversation with Uncle Nino. And Vinny was completely embarrassed by the way that Uncle Nino was behaving, to the point where I know he wishes Uncle Nino was not invited to the wedding. So the wedding ceremony finally starts and everybody looks great. Angelina looks beautiful walking down the aisle. She's getting walked down the aisle by her uncle because she doesn't have a relationship with her father, which she said bothers her, but at the same time she's happy that she had her uncle there as her support system to walk her down the aisle. She said that she knows that Chris is the one because he's the first guy who actually never tried to change her and who's actually been patient with her. And, she usually goes for guys who are like her dad, and she realized that Chris wasn't anything like her dad, and that's exactly what she needed in her life. And so I thought that, it was a really sweet scene to watch. As she was walking down the aisle, Chris got emotional once again, and so did Angelina, which I thought it was sweet, and I got a little bit teary-eyed watching it. And it was just a beautiful ceremony. The decorations was great. The wedding party looked amazing, and so did all the guests who showed up to the wedding. Now, when the priest asked if anybody objects to the two of them getting married, it was funny because Vinny ended up raising his hand and everybody kind of started laughing, and then he put his arms around Mike and Paulie just to make it seem like he wasn't trying to raise his hand. I thought that was a funny little gesture, and I think it was good that everybody laughed and nobody was offended by him doing so. So now it's cocktail hour right before the reception fully begins, and there was so much friggin' food for cocktail hour. Mike was in absolute heaven because we all know Mike loves to eat, and he decided to, take a break on his diet so that he can enjoy all the food that was there, okay? Because Angelina had a whole setup, like a whole spread, and this was just cocktail hour. This wasn't even the dinner that they were going to be having for the wedding. And so Mike ate so much he ended up spilling some on his really, really nice suit. Now, even Vinny ended up junking his keto diet for the night so that he can enjoy all the food that was there, especially all the carbs, since when he's on the keto diet, he can't have any carbs. So everybody seems to be having a good time at the reception, except for Jenny, because she still feels uneasy about Angelina's grandmother. She still feels like Angelina's grandmother put a hex on her, which I just feel like Jenny's thinking too much, okay? Because I don't think the one put a hex on her. But she ends up recruiting Uncle Nino out of everybody to go have a conversation with Angelina's grandmother to make sure this woman did not put a hex on her. Now, I don't even know if Angelina's grandmother knew what the heck Uncle Nino was saying, because I barely understood what Uncle Nino was saying. I never really understand what he's saying, okay? So the conversation seemed to have gone well between Angelina's grandmother and Uncle Nino, to the point where Jenny kind of let her guard down and she didn't really feel uneasy anymore. Now, Uncle Nino was being very flirtatious with Jenny at the reception, to the point where Jenny felt like, Uncle Nino was giving her more attention than Paulie was giving her, because Paulie and Jenny have been awkward with each other ever since what happened with the two of them in New Orleans, which nothing really happened, okay? They wanted to sleep together, but they didn't actually end up doing it. And, I don't know why they're acting so awkward now, because they didn't end up hooking up, so nothing happened to their friendship. I mean, in the first season of Jersey Shore, they were still able to be friends with each other after making out multiple times and her seeing his penis. So to me, I just don't understand why they're acting so awkward with one another. Clearly, there's some feelings there between the two of them, but if they're not going to act on them, I don't think they should act awkward around each other either. So Angelina and Chris end up having their first dance as bride and groom, and it was really sweet to watch. They seemed to be enjoying themselves, and it was a very beautiful setup for the reception. Now, I don't know why, but they kept making it seem like Vinny was hurt because Angelina's like the one that got away, and I don't really feel like, Vinny's hurt by it at all. I don't think Vinny ever wanted a relationship with Angelina. Maybe back in the day before he became as handsome as he is now, he might have had a thing for Angelina, but once they got on the show, it was very clear that he didn't have have a thing for her, and it was clear that he didn't really like her too much. Now that the two of them are friends and they are a little bit flirty with each other, there is obviously some attraction between the two of them. I don't think that he's heartbroken at all that Angelina's getting married. In fact, I think that he's happy for her, and I don't think that Vinny's ready to settle down anytime soon. They kept showing clips of the two of them from the past, and I was just like, they are doing too much with this. This is a little bit disrespectful for the fact that she just got married. How's her husband gonna feel when he watches this episode and sees that they're trying to make it seem like Vinny is in love with Angelina? So at the very end of this episode, it was time for the speeches, and Angelina's sister, who was her maid of honor, gave her speech. It was good. Chris's brother, who was his best man, gave his speech, and it was good. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. But then it was time for Nicole, Jenny, and Dina to give their speech, which I honestly don't think it was necessary for them to give a speech because Angelina's maid of honor, who was her sister, already gave the speech for her. I don't think you need to have multiple speeches at a wedding. But they went up there, and it was really awkward. You could tell that they was nervous to speak in front of all these people at the wedding. And it started off fine, okay? When Dina first started giving the speech, it was funny. Everybody was laughing. But then it started to get more disrespectful, and people started to get offended by it, and everybody started to boo them. And it was really uncomfortable to watch. I had secondhand embarrassment. I think that they should have just kept their speech short and sweet and not put too much raunchy shit in it. I know they thought that Angelina was going to enjoy it, but this is her wedding day. It's different from any other day. So I just feel like they did a bit too much in what they were saying, although I don't necessarily think they meant any harm. They did think that Angelina would like it. I think they should have known better to do that at somebody's wedding. So the episode cut there. I thought it was a really good episode up until the end because it got really uncomfortable with the girl's speech. And I am interested to see what happens at the rest of the reception because Angelina gets pissed off in the next episode and starts kicking the camera crew out. So I don't know if she was upset about the girl's speech or if something else ended up happening that pissed her off. But we'll have to wait until next week to see that. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you to all my subscribers for the support. I appreciate you all, and until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.